Masculine energy is protective. It protects, defends, and contains. So, when we're talking about just on the energetic level of masculinity and femininity, masculinity is, I've heard it described as a container for femininity, feminine energy. And I heard Jordan Peterson talk about it first, where he said that the yin and yang, chaos and order, chaos was associated with yin, which is feminine, and order was associated with yang, which is masculine. And so you have to think, when you're around a woman, they always want to feel safe, right? They want to be with a man that makes them feel safe. They say that all the time. And one thing you'll even learn, I knew a girl who, she was a big girl. She was 6'1", and she was overweight. She was losing weight, but she was 6'1" and overweight. And she said she was married to a man who was like 5'9", and she said that she didn't even notice his height because she felt so safe around him. Now they've since divorced and everything. She had a lot of issues, but the point was that she said that because the safety is about a feeling, right? Especially for females. They want to feel like they're safe. They want to feel like they're protected and feel like they can open up, right? And as a man, if you are not sitting in your masculine energy, if that's not where you're existing, she's not going to feel safe with you around. And so you almost become useless as a man. This is why the girls end up so mean to guys who act feminine, is because you're useless as a man if you can't protect, if you can't defend, right? And so just like as a man, if we were at war, a woman is useless to us. She's in our way. So if you're a man and you're operating from a feminine energy, you're useless to her and you're in her way, right? You'll see this all the time. Girls will have boyfriends and this dude will be coming from a feminine place, and when they see a masculine man or get around a masculine man, these girls want to get away from their boyfriends. They get annoyed by their boyfriends because now they're like, you're in my way of actually being safe, of actually feeling protected, right? So this happened the other night at the gym. A couple came, I was training, hitting the bag, and a couple came like right across from where the bag was. And I've seen this couple once before, only one time, and the girl specifically kept looking at me. I kept fucking ignoring her, and then this happened again, right? And so suddenly I see her like trying to touch her boyfriend and kiss on him, and he's kind of holding her away because he's realizing what's going on, right? She took her, when he walked away, she took her jacket off and started like pulling her shorts up and checking herself out in the mirror, just really looking at herself. And you know, he's not dumb, he's in tune. This is his woman, right? They're probably sleeping with each other, so he's very in tune with her, and he knows that she's looking somewhere else at someone else, right? And so you see this happen, at least for me, I see this happen all the fucking time, all throughout my life. In my early 20s, when I joined the military, I lost all faith in females and love as a whole. The relationship that I was in, I stopped trying because I saw the way that females acted when they were away from their boyfriends or their husbands, right? Which was basically no restriction. There was only one girl. My entire time in the military, there was one girl who had a husband who was completely faithful to that man. And she was attracted to me. I was attracted to her, right? We were attracted to each other. But she would intentionally stay away from me because she knew. She was like, I'm a girl. I am helpless to a man, right? If you watching this right now, if you're a strong man and you're truly coming from a masculine place, you'll realize that females are helpless to you. And they know this as well. This is part of why they've shouted masculinity down, because they didn't want to feel helpless to to all these men around them. They wanted more control. And it made them feel sexually safe, right? They felt like they weren't going to give themselves to another man. Because that's a scary thing for a woman to have to open up, right? And so we had a mutual friend. She eventually stopped hanging out, like when we would all be together. She wouldn't come around when I was around. And it was like, if I came around, she would leave. And I knew what was going on. And I really, of course, that made me like her even more. She was married, so I would never do anything. But there was just this charge between us, this tension between us. But I had seen the way that all these women acted. And I stopped trying in my relationship because it was long distance. And I was like, this shit just ain't gonna work. And it didn't, right? It didn't work. So the girls want to feel like they can open up. They want to feel safe and protected. And as a man, a lot of protecting and defending is being calm, right? It's not having anxiety. It's not getting stressed, right? You can have anxiety or stress. It's not indulging in these. It's not like getting overwhelmed by these emotions, right? You contain your own emotions so you can contain hers. And a lot of it is the willingness to protect or defend. Most men are not willing to protect and defend. Let's just put it like that, right? I wrestled a guy the other night. He was younger than me and he was smaller than me, but he had more experience wrestling, like in high school. He wrestled all 4 years. And so we went at it and I beat him, I pinned him. And it was the thing that he didn't realize was he was just not willing to hurt me or himself. And I was. I was like, yeah, we're friends and we're wrestling, but I'm not going to lose either. Right? Just because we're friends doesn't mean that I take an L here. I've never wrestled this guy before, so I want to go ahead and win. And so I did. And I knew that he just didn't have the willingness. He wasn't willing to actually get down to it, right? And get aggressive. And that's how most men are. Most men are not willing to do this stuff. They want to move back, right? They'll do little things, but when the confrontation actually comes, they move, right? When I'm at the gym all the time, it just happened last night. I was training over by some dumbbells. This one girl that's always up in my shit, I'm not attracted to her. She's coming over and she keeps turning and facing me and just, I'm ignoring the fuck out of her because I'm not into her. And she also has a boyfriend. What do you know? So these two other guys, this girl is Hispanic. And so these two Hispanic guys come and start working out between me and her. And it was late. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And these guys, when she came near me, I knew what was going on. And when these guys came between me and her, I knew what was going on. I was like, oh, okay. So that's what's going on, right? There's all these benches open. That's why I mentioned the time, 8:39, because it's late. There's all these benches open. And these people are coming around me. So these two dudes, I noticed that. And every time I look at them, they won't look at me. But I'll catch them side-eyeing me in the mirror, right? And so I moved to the left a little bit because there's an endless amount of space. And next thing I know, they're up in front of the bench where I have my water bottle and my phone and my backpack, right? They're standing like right in front of it, like flexing and shit. And I walk back over to hit another set and these dudes move out of the way, right? So this is them attempting to protect, but once the moment comes, they scurry away. And this is how most men are. They're not actually willing to protect. They will fake, right? They'll bark, they'll talk shit. They won't actually get down to business. And that's kind of what these dudes were doing. They're trying to come between me and her because they're into her, whatever. I'm not into her. They're probably mad because she's Hispanic and they're Hispanic and she likes a white guy. And so they come and do that shit, right? And I know what's going on and I move a little bit just because I'm not like, you know, being willing to protect and defend doesn't mean you go and look for a fight. It doesn't mean you're aggressive to everyone around you, right? If you want to come around me and beef over a bitch that I don't even like, bruh, keep that to yourself, bro. That's your own beef. You've created all this shit in your own minds. 2 of you, right? And I'll take both of you. Give a fuck. But I'm not gonna fight over some fucking woman that I don't even like, right? So I move a little bit, right? And then they come and take that space. So I see what's going on, and at this point, I'm not gonna get punked, right? I'm not about to get punked and look like a bitch in front of anyone. I'm not even that. I don't even want to feel like a bitch. You're not gonna punk me. You're not gonna come and this is my shit. This is my space. And so I'll walk back over there and they move. And I look and stare directly at both of them and neither one of them look at me. And then I start hitting my set and I see them both looking at me in the mirror. I look over and make eye contact, right? They're looking at me through the mirror and I look 90 degrees this way at them while I'm working out. Because it's like, motherfucker, get up out of my shit. Get up out of my shit, dude. If you want to fight, right? You know, that's the thing. It's that willingness. It's that willingness to protect and defend, right? This girl has a boyfriend already. She's coming around me because she can feel that energy. She can tell that this is my space. You're safe if you're with me because this is my space and I'm going to protect it. I'm going to defend it. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many of you are. This is what happens when you're operating from your masculine energy. Men that are on a similar wavelength to you are going to show you respect. Men who are beneath you, who feel threatened by you, are going to challenge you. And as a man operating from your masculine energy, if you want to be an alpha male, top level man, you don't respond to threats and challenges from men who are not on the same level as you, because they're just trying to pull you down. They're trying to get you to engage with them on their level, not your level. You're not on my level, so you don't engage with them. If you get a threat or a challenge from a man who is at a similar level to you, on a similar wavelength, a man who is started with respect and then comes with a threat, you take that challenge. You can't back down from that one. But it has to start with respect as men. It doesn't start with a challenge. If it starts with a challenge, you're threatened by me. You feel intimidated by me, right? So you're not on the same level as me because you didn't try to garner a friendship with me. You tried to immediately come with combat. And one thing you have to realize, I have to tell myself this a lot because I'm a man. I have testosterone. When dudes act like this, I want to fight, right? Like it kind of makes me mad and I'm kind of like, And I have to always tell myself, do not beef with broke motherfuckers. You don't beef with broke motherfuckers. These guys are broke. They have nothing else going on in their lives. So it's fucking 9 p.m. on a Saturday night at the gym and they're trying to beef over some woman who has a boyfriend who is not into them and likes me. No, dude. No. Don't let your brain engage with that, right? Engage with the dudes who don't start with a challenge, okay? But going back to the protection and the defense, like I've said, most of it is the willingness to protect and defend. If you have that willingness, you've got 80% of the recipe. The other 20% is just being able to fight, right? But 80% is just being willing to do it, right? Growing up throughout my childhood, I would always wonder why most of the time people never challenged me, but when they did and it came down to it, people always backed down. They would always back down, and I would never end up in fist fights. It didn't really matter who it was. And I didn't know as a child that it was that willingness. It was because I grew up with a brother 2 years older than me. And so I learned very quickly, like, right, this dude was a bully. And he bullied me and nobody else. Nobody got bullied except for me by my brother. Praise God. But I learned very quickly that if someone challenges you, whether you want to or not, you might have to fight, right? Because there would be times where I'd try to walk away from my brother and he'd jump my ass anyway. He'd attack me anyway. And my brother was teaching me lessons. He was teaching me lessons like, dude, you can never be a bitch. You can never turn your back on someone. You can't, like, even walking away, sometimes someone might attack you anyway, right? So I had this overt willingness to defend, to fight, and these dudes would back down. And so a lot of times just the threat of violence is what's going to stop things, right? If you can threaten someone with violence and mean it, when you look at them in their eyes and you threaten them and they know you mean it, they back down, right? Most men don't want to take it to that level. They're afraid of getting hurt or hurting someone else, or they think about going to jail and shit. Dude, I've been in fights in public. You don't go to jail. All you have to do is leave the area, right? That's just code, right? That's just dudes being pussies that don't want to fight. Oh, I'm worried about going to jail or something, da-da-da-da. Dude, that shit don't happen. Unless you fight right in front of cops, that shit ain't gonna happen. So, the masculine energy as a whole, it protects the status quo, it protects the culture, it protects the people, the women and the children, it protects the borders, right? We see in America where they destroyed masculinity and then they opened our border, and now we've got all these illegal people here that have not assimilated to the culture, do not give a fuck about us, right? And they're being given free stuff because America as a whole is operating from a feminine frame. So it's let everyone in, give them everything, and don't ask for any respect in return. Let them disrespect you and continue to give stuff, because America is like a wealthy mother, right? She's got all this money and her husband worked for it. She's got all this money, she's in charge of the money, and she's just giving it out to the poor kids all the time. And she gives it out to the point to where they're broke. And the poor kids just start coming in and taking the shit, right? You have to think, over the last 30 years, we've probably had 50 million people come across this border illegally. Over the last 30 years. How many kids have they had? How many kids have they had? How many people do we have here that aren't supposed to be here? All because men have been shouted down for ages. So now we have all these problems, right? Why are homes and groceries so expensive? It's not all just COVID and printing money. It's because they printed that money in COVID, but simultaneously they increased the demand by flooding people in here. So now the housing market is ridiculous. Nobody can buy a home. I'm 29. No young people in their 20s, the average young person in their 20s can't afford a home. Even these illegals can't afford a home. I talked to an illegal immigrant Mexican a couple years ago. It's a young lady, and she was mad because she said Mexico City was being gentrified. By the way, the Mexicans are protesting in Mexico City, calling people gringos, wanting them to get the fuck out. When in America, we're so feminized that if you, as a gringo, try to get the Mexicans out, the beaners out, let's go ahead and do that. You try to get the beaners out, we got gringos and beaners in the street protesting that shit, saying, no, leave them in. And they cry about it, because they're operating from a feminine frame. And so this is what we've come to as a culture and a society in America, being over feminized. We've destroyed our men. This is where we're at. But that girl was mad about that, and I looked at her and I said, how do you think I feel? You're in my country illegally, I'm not in yours. And you know what else? I asked her, why'd you come to America? She said, for money. I said, do you have more money than you had in Mexico? She said no. And I knew she was going to say that. I'm not stupid, right? All these illegals come over here and they live in poverty. They don't come to anything better here. They're being sold an American dream that is not here anymore, right? They're coming over here and they're not making any more money. They're not getting a better life unless they come here legally. Those people come here and get a better life. Right? They make it happen. The people that come here illegally, there's not a whole lot they can do. There's not a whole lot they can do. So they don't really get to improve their lives much. But as men, we're the ones that are called, right? We were told with the Obama and Biden administrations, even Bush, all these administrations let all these illegals in. They were the feminine side, right? Democrats are more feminine. Republicans are more masculine. So they let all these people in, said open arms, we're going to let everyone in. No vetting, no making sure you're nice, no making sure you respect my home, no making sure you have allegiance to me and my home. Just come on in. And so we've let all these people in. Now, oh, there's problems. Now the women are crying, oh my God, he raped me. Oh my God, he punched me. He stole from me. Ha ha ha. These are the same women that wanted to let these people in. So now we've got an issue, and guess who has to fix it? The men. So this is why, as a man, you never slip out of that masculine energy, because then you'll not listen to the female who's saying, be nice, be nice, be nice. You are naive, woman. Feminine energy is naive. It's innocent. It doesn't think about that. It trusts everyone, right? It trusts everything. We don't operate that way as men. We're not so trusting of everyone else because we know what it is, dude. You're coming here to try and take our women and to take our things. You're coming here to take my things, to steal from me. And you want to steal females and resources. Nothing is new. Nothing is different under the sun. It's the same shit going on. We've just been psychologically programmed to accept it, right? So getting out of your masculine energy, that's what happens, right? You'll end up getting your woman taken by another man right in front of you, and she'll give no fucks, and you won't defend it, right? See it happen all the fucking time. So you know, you have to operate from your masculine energy in order to protect the status, to protect your culture, protect the things that you currently have, right? You have to think about your ancestors and the things that they passed down and how they have to be protected, right? Like, that's one thing that I, as a white guy in America, you know, I've seen all the stuff that white people don't have any culture. Brother, I've grown up in the South, and I can tell you, we got culture. And I can tell you everything. I've traveled all over this country, and everything I look at all over this country, I say that is white culture. That is the culture of white people, right? And so, of course, if you're watching this and you're white, you know damn well we've been told we are not allowed to defend or protect anything, right? We're not allowed to. It's psychological programming. That's what these people have done. They've come into our home and said, you're not allowed to protect anything because if you do, that means you're racist because you're white. Absolutely not. Bullshit. If you want to consider me racist for that, that's your prerogative. I'm actually just trying to protect and defend what we have here currently because it's really nice. That's why you're trying to come over here. We've gathered a lot of resources. And guess who likes resources? Bitches. You can't be letting people in here, right? So I know I've gotten political on this, but I started from the individual's stuff of, as a man, your masculine energy makes a woman feel safe, protected, right? And it makes everyone around you feel safe and protected. When I'm with people, they all say, like, I've got one friend specifically who says, if we were ever in a war, I'd want to be with you when it broke out, right? And every time he says that, I'm like, you're the last person I'd want to be with because you're a man saying that you would like to be with me. I get that, but you're not like me. So you want to be with me to feel safe. Operating from your feminine, right? I can't get you pregnant, so you don't need to be leaning on me for your protection. You need to worry about your own protection. And together, if we're both worried about our own protection, we're so much stronger. But he's operating from his feminine, right? Girls should say that. But I have friends like that. When I'm around them, I know that I feel a little bit safer around these friends because I know that their head is on a swivel and they're willing to protect and defend, right? One of my best friends is a cop. I feel this way around him. He's always turned on. He's always ready to go. And him and I are on the same wavelength. And when we go in somewhere together, it doesn't matter where we go. We take over the whole fucking room. It's our place. We own the whole restaurant. We own the whole bar. We own the whole grocery store. Whatever it is, it's ours. And it's because we're on that same wavelength. So, to channel your masculine energy, I talked about before, self-control. This one is about protection and defending. You have to be willing to protect and defend. Protect and defend your honor. Protect and defend yourself. Protect and defend your respect. Protect and defend the people around you. Protect and defend the woman around you. Protect and defend your culture. Protect and defend your society. Protect and defend your country. This is what men do. This is a masculine thing. So you need to start expanding yourself and protecting the people around you. When you go out with friends, nobody's really operating from that frame of mind that we need to be safe. We need to make sure that everyone is good. You be the one. You be the guy operating from that frame of mind that everyone is safe because I'm here. I'll make sure of it. Just thinking that way you're gonna be putting out this masculine energy and people are gonna feel safe around you. You'll notice the girls will just come to you and start a conversation with you because they feel safe. They feel comfortable around you, right? So there you go, fellas. Subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend. Have a good one.